It's one of me, the Spottic, bring you guys another gameplay commentary. This is Black Desert Online, and this is part 2 to how to play a Sorc, right? I don't know if this is the intermediate or advanced guide. This is more like I'll decide what I want this to be, because this is a lot of the aspects that I talked about in part 1 being applied. Now this is all 1v1s. I think what I'll do is I'll add, maybe part 3 will be small group, right? I'll do some RBF. I'll I'll even go into open world and do what I don't usually do, which is grief players, and just show you guys like the different dynamics of 1v1s versus small scale. I'm not really a large scale player, so let's keep that in mind. I've played large scale, just not a thing that I like to do. It's just too random and just chaotic, and that's just me personally. Other players think large scale is the thing. I am not against those players. Okay, all right. So what I'll do is I'll show, because I have some of the stuff like timestamped. Timestamp. Sion, you do timestamp. No, not this video will have timestamps, right? You guys will have to go through and find like the spots, right? But I have timestamp in this, like where I can go to show some things, right? So what I want to do is show like how I approach particular things and some of the catches, and then I'll show a fight with a pretty solid player, right? And in this game, to me at least, a guild matters, especially if it's like these top tier guilds, right? Sacred, Flow, Nameless, Panic, Arsha, right? These guys are all, and those are all siege and consistent siege and node war guilds, right? If you see a player in one of those guilds, they're most likely really good, right? Or they have gear, right? I don't like to downplay that kind of stuff, so just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go to 344 here. You'll see a catch. So this is an awakened Hissashin. This is us, dueling for the spot. I mean, I won probably. Like right there, you'll notice that there's a catch here. Right? You see me set up my blades, and pop the blades and turn back slash, and he was caught with the turn back slash, right? If you look at his, that's why I said in the first part, turn back slash is amazing. You get to use it in so many different varieties. Sometimes I just throw it out there as a fish, right? And you'll see that the evasion debuff gets applied, right? Gets caught with the blades into turn back into Grim. Okay, so let's go to 609 here. That jumped pretty far, huh? All right, I'm fighting this Valk here, and I guess I'll talk about stuff here. And any Valk player that I fight, I just want to point something out. I said this in part 1, and I've said this in countless videos that I've made about playing Sorceress. You never really want to stand in front of any player that can grab you, or a player that can block jump you, right? Know who these classes are. Hash can block jump, Wusa can block jump on steroids. right? DK can block jump, Ninja can block jump, but a Ninja's block jump you can easily catch. Sorks can block jump. Pretty much almost every class in this game can block jump you, right? So you really want to be mindful of that. And the best way to avoid that is just never standing in front of them. What does that mean? Can they still catch you with it? Absolutely. But do they have to do a lot more, especially in the heat of a fight? Yes, they have to target you in order to get that block jump off. Right? Ninja's a little bit different, but you can catch them the moment they block jump. Like that animation is stuck, so you can counter them immediately. Like that's a catch for me. Almost 9 out of 10 times, if a ninja block jumps, it's a catch for me. Unless the smart ones they block jump away, they try to switch you up, they switch stuff up, and then you now have to be careful, right? So whenever I fight a Valk, right, and I fight probably one of the best Valks in this game. I won't mention his name because players might say, "Oh, that's not the best Valk." I personally think it's the best Succession. The guy is the best Succession Valk in the game. I fight him often. He's solid, and I've tried all these things on him, and these things have worked. So anytime I fight a Valk, this is an awakened Valk, right? And you'll see, I'm never standing in front of this guy, right? I make sure I position myself, and I'm behind my playing behind my blades. Let me just go right back to that. Let's go right back to that, right? So, and then I'll stop pausing it from here. So you'll notice, I'm just doing my thing. I'm playing neutral here. I went from, I'm switching back and forth, Doom into Blades, into Shadow Leap, into Violation, into Turnback Slash, into a finish, right? So again, you never really want to stand in front of these players. And if you are in front of them, it's just you're playing as if you're in front of them. I caught him here, but I did like the turnback slash didn't cancel, and that really screwed up my chance to kill him. But again, I'm playing neutral, a lot of frontals. I'm fishing for CCs, and the turnback caught him there. But again, I'm playing behind my blades. If he really wants to grab me, he has to target me, especially if I'm not standing in front of him. That's if there's any rule that you should follow is never stand in front of any player that can grab you. And once you know the program, you're pretty much set. Right? What I'm doing here is just testing this guy's block. A lot of Sork fights, especially I just did a bot jump there. A lot of Sork's fights, like you might think he can grab me here, but he can't. I'm not really standing in front of him, and like as I mentioned earlier, in the heat of a fight, it's very difficult for you know players to target you. And again, like all of those sequences there, I'm really just spacing. I think the spacing is pretty solid because I can get to him and he really can't get to me. Again, hitting with damage. Um, so let's move on. Okay, so let's go to rice cake here. When did this start? So yeah, this player right here is just as geared as I am. I think is even more geared. I think he has two distos, right? A very solid player. He's asking me if I want to fight against the the Drake or the Megu. To me, the Megu is probably more difficult. I did fight his Dragu, his Megu after this. But you'll see in the beginning of this fight, and I haven't fought a Drake in a while, right? And it takes me a while to like just get the distance. What you do not want to do, especially this class, is just like this class has the ability to two shot you, um, and they're very good at SA trading. So you have to be very careful, right? And here I am. I'm not spacing right. I'm still playing the same kind of I'm still playing the same kind of game here. But you'll notice um a little bit, well, you'll notice within this fight that I kind of adjusted like to the play, right? My neutral got a little bit better. My spacing got a little bit better, and I didn't engage in SA trading, right? That's one of the things that you know, that's one of the really good things about a Sorc. That's why players tend to dislike Sorcs. A Sorc has, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but a Sorc has the ability of a caster and the ability of like a melee class, right? With the skill Grim, right? Grim Reaper hits hard. It's a melee skill, even though Sorc is magic, and it can do a lot, right? Um, and so as you can see, this player, right? This player's game is to the SA trade with me, and I just don't have the ability to do that. I don't. This class just hits really hard, and but there are ways around that, right? You can do a lot of frontaling, which I'm doing here, and you'll notice I'll do that a little bit, not a little bit, but I'll do that in this fight. Right here, I caught the catch, but I couldn't. This is a patented catch for me. I say patented, but right here I couldn't finish it either. Um, I usually throw the Doom. I launch the blades, throw the Doom, and then Shadow Leap into Violation, turn back slash, and then Grim. I wasn't able to catch him, but I'm here I'm trying to figure out his like the range and his spacing. So I got a little bit of it here. You'll notice that I'm sitting there while this fight is going on. I'm like, yeah, this is the range, and you'll notice how the fight changes, right? The thing is, I'm just playing neutral here. And neutral to me is just, you know, getting my dark flame out because it doesn't really cost me any stam, and shadow leaping and switching directions, moving from right to left, left to right. Right. So and that's another thing, right? I think a Sorc is really good at playing neutral, right? That's Dark Flame there. A lot of players don't use Dark Flame. I personally think this is probably the best movement skill after after Shadow Leap 4. And don't do what I do here. I don't think I'll do it again in this fight. Again, you don't want to engage in an SA trade with this class, especially, and it's not specifically because of this guy's, he's Garrett. The class in and of itself is that kind of class. So, trust the old turn back slash works. Um, and this entire fight is me just figuring out the range. Um, like none of those jump ins I'm even going to deal with, right? everything out frontal or set up for blades into turn back slash, which you just saw there. And again, I'm playing the spacing, and spacing doesn't mean being far away from the player. It just means depending on the class, like what's the range of this player's, abilities, and how can you be at that right spot where you can damage them and they can't really damage you, or they can damage you but not to the point where it's blowing up your frontal or it's taking a chunk of your health, and then you should be fine. Some classes it's a bit different, right? So he eased up a bit for me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll take it. Again, I'm not going to engage in that kind of like say trading. All right, if I'm in that trade, I'm done. All right. All right. So you saw in the first few series of this fight, I engaged in that. You don't want to, and this is the thing about a Sorc, that you have the ability to kind of pick and choose the type of fight you want to have. Do you want to be in striking range? Do you want to get aggressive? Do you want to do any of those things? You have the ability to do that. You'll notice there, let's go right back, that's a shadow leap into a violation, right? I don't know if you notice, in a series of fights he'll jump away and then do a frontal. As a Sorc, you should be challenging all frontals. That's why anytime I fight awaken Zerkers, they do not even like, they just don't want to engage in Titan Blow ever, because I'm always looking to check it. If you can take away, here's the thing, if you can take away a player's ability to CC you, unless they can only CC you with a grab, you're perfect. Because if you know they're looking to grab and they're not looking to get another CC off of you, then you've essentially taken away a good part of their kit, right? That Hassassin that I was fighting in the beginning, he killed me like 3 times. I think I killed him like maybe 15 times. And of those 3 times that he killed me, or maybe 4 times, 3 of them were grabs because he could not get a CC. And if now I know that you're looking for a grab, it's all day on just chipping you, trying to bait you. It's a long day. It's a long fight, right? And you'll notice that as soon as he steps back and I'm looking, you'll notice that he stepped back before he did a frontal, and here he goes again, and I'm looking for it, right? And that's something that you pay close attention to. Um, so all of the jump ins, that's no longer a thing, right? And as a Sorc, you can, as long as you're using blades and you're playing behind it, you can play both games. The range, the aggressive melee kind of situation, you can go in and out of these things. See, that right there is, like I said, this is probably one of my patented, say patented move. Blades, right? Cancel out into blades, launch it into Shadow Leap into Violation, Grim, right? It's a Reaper. And like once you get to that, I'll stop from here. I think here he switched to Zubegu. But I just want to point out that like this is how you would want to this is how you would want to like play the class, right? Know, right? You have to know what the other class can do, right? The first thing you need to know is, does the class have a grab? does the class have a block jump, right? Is the class can the class, does it have a 360 SA, all around guard? Does it have that? There are a few classes that have that, right? Valk, Warrior, Nova, Guardian, right? Those classes have that, right? You need to know that. You need to know the classes that have block jump, right? A Ninja, a Hash, a Wusa. Wusa has block jump on steroids. A DK, a Sork, right? Like those classes have block jumps, right? You need to know the kind of setup with speedsters, right? The Maywiz, and the uh, the Mooses. You have to know how to play them, right? You always want to kind of have a decent. You always want to make sure you're playing neutral, and your range is a certain way, and you're employing all of the tools at your disposal, right? Do not neglect to use blades. Do not neglect to use turnback slash, even though it's unprotected. Once you use it enough, you get to that point where you kind of know the range. Players just don't catch you in that. You don't necessarily want to do it a lot in open world, but I use it a lot in open world. But you have to be very careful as to when you want to do it. And again, it all has to do with the knowledge of the other class. Some classes can play without knowing the knowledge of other classes. I mean, a Sork can technically do that to a certain extent, right? But that playstyle will only take you so far. Eventually, you'll get caught, and you won't know what to do, right? So, hopefully, this video is a lot shorter than the video that was over 1 hour. But hopefully, this helped you guys, try to understand and see some of the catches that are available as a Sork. You don't have to just throw out Shadow Eruption all the time, right? I mean, but it is a fish, right? You're fishing for a CC. Anyway, I'm out.